Bandom, how's it going? Today we are reviewing Grant Morrison's Absolute Edition of Batman Incorporated. So let's get into it. So here's what you need to know. The series is written by Grant Morrison, and Grant Morrison's a guy that's been in the industry for about 30 years at this point, if not more. And Grant Morrison has pretty much written everything under the sun. He's one of the best comic writers that is out there right now, and he's been accused a lot of times of getting a bit too heady with a lot of his material, and some people don't necessarily like it because the material can at times be a bit too far out there, but 9 times out of 10, once he reins it in, it's really great stuff. You can look at Animal Man as a perfect example of that. His Animal Man run is great. I love his Animal Man run. The best way to handle Grant Morrison's Batman Incorporated is to kind of think about it in seasons, like a TV show. There is the first season, which is set in pre-New 52, and then there's the second season, which is set in post-New 52. And a lot of people have said that Grant Morrison wasn't exactly thrilled when he heard about the reboot happening because his run entirely relies on you knowing the history of Batman from the 1950s, 1960s, and stuff like that, because he mines all that stuff, and it all takes place here.
So, in order to give you guys a full and comprehensive review, I kind of have to go into some spoiler details of Batman Incorporated. But if you don't want to listen to that, that's perfectly fine. You can skip ahead to when I start doing an unboxing of this thing, and I take it out of the slipcase. What you basically need to know is that Bruce Wayne has started Batman Inc. to combat this group called Leviathan, and he's going around the world recruiting people. That's the general gist of it. If you don't want to know anything else, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, skip ahead. I will link the timestamp below where spoilers stop happening in the description, so thanks for checking this video out.
So at the beginning of this story, Bruce Wayne pretty much announces that he has been funding Batman secretly for years, and that he and Batman are going to start this global organization called Batman Inc. And they're going to go around the world and they're going to start setting up spots where people can become Batman. And that way they can combat this rising tide of evil that is this organization that is called Leviathan. After his announcement, Bruce Wayne goes around the world and he starts recruiting people for his Batman Incorporated organization. And what follows next is like kind of a series of one-shots with an interconnected story where you see Batman go to Japan, go to Argentina, go to different places, and he recruits different people to take up the mantle of Batman. It's really great stuff and it's really fun. My personal favorite was one where he goes to this Native American ranch and he recruits this guy called Man of Bat. And what you notice if you know Batman's timeline is that Grant Morrison is mining Batman's history, because what he's doing there is that he is actually picking pieces from different timelines and different people that have taken up the mantle throughout Batman's 75-year continuity, and he is now using that and saying, yeah, you were Batman for a little bit, yeah, you could take up the mantle for me in this organization. While Bruce Wayne is globetrotting, there is an organization called Leviathan, and Leviathan is setting up sleeper agents across the world, and it's led by this evil Dr. Otto Netz. And Otto Netz is an old, kind of dementia-ridden Nazi scientist. And his plan is that he is going to use this device called Ouroboros, like this serpent that is always eating its own tail. And he is going to destroy the world and send it into panic. Now, if this sounds like an old 1950s, 1960s James Bond villain vibe, that's because he did it on purpose. Grant Morrison actually even comments on the special features in here that he says, yeah, I got the idea for the main bad guy of the first season of Batman Inc. from watching old James Bond movies, basically. So the second season of Batman Incorporated, also known as what is set in the New 52 continuity, follows around Bruce Wayne as he finds out that Otto Netz was not, in fact, the one that was in charge of Leviathan, but it was actually Damian Wayne's mom, Talia al Ghul. And now that Batman Inc. is fully established, it follows around Bruce Wayne as he joins with other Batman Inc. members and they fight off Leviathan and they try to stop Talia al Ghul's plans. If you were one of the people that saw my Batman reading order for Grant Morrison, you'll know that I kind of gave him a lot of crap for Batman R.I.P., but I will say that the man wrapped this up very well and he ties up all the loose ends surprisingly, and he leaves you kind of wanting more, but at the same time you're like, this is a natural conclusion to his story and everything that he planned out for 7 years. For those of you that are wondering, hey, can I just jump onto this? Can I pick up the Absolute Batman Incorporated edition? No, you definitely need to read everything that Grant Morrison wrote before in the past 7 years. Otherwise, you will be completely lost in this, because what he's doing is that everything that he did before, everything that he was building up to, Leviathan, Damian, Talia, it all culminates right here. So jumping onto it, you really will not understand a lot of what's going on, especially with the Ouroboros and with Talia's plans and her motivation of how everything's going down, you definitely do need the context of his previous stuff. Let's talk about the art for a minute in this thing. And the art is done by various artists. Cameron Stewart, Yannick Paquette, guys like that. And each one of them does a very fantastic job. But once you hit the New 52 stuff and Chris Burnham takes over, it's like a rocket goes off. The guy is just on fire throughout the entire thing. And I really do love what they did in this Absolute Edition versus what they did in the hardcovers and trade paperbacks. Because what happened was that in order for Chris Burnham to keep up with the schedule, he had to have fill-in artists kind of do pages here and there. Well, he comes back for the Absolute Edition and he does all those pages all over again. Chris Burnham has said he's taken a lot of inspiration in his art style from Frank Quitely, and you do see it especially in the way that his panel layouts are done and how he'll have Damian in one single panel moving from one section of it to the next section of it, and you see all the movement and you see the body outline, and he'll throw a punch here, he'll move and kick here. It's a really great style that he's got going on, and every time that Batman throws a punch, or when Damian throws a punch, or when Damian gets hit or Batman gets hit, you feel it because it's just showing the teeth and it's showing like the blood and everything. You're like, oh man, that looked like it really hurt. So let's talk about the special features on this bad boy, which is what I'm sure a lot of you have come to this video to see. So let's see that. That's the slipcase right there. Absolute Batman Inc. I really do love this cover. It's got a nice feel to it. There's the back of it. There's the side. Absolute Batman Inc. I really do like this. And here is what it looks like without the slipcase. That's the great thing about Absolutes. They have a really good slipcase and a really high production value. There's the side of it. Same thing as that. So you guys get a good look at that. And with that, Batman is everywhere. Okay. Man of Bats. My personal favorite. He's really cool. This, of course, is sewn binding, and it does come with a nice little blue ribbon right there. And there's a guy on YouTube, I'm going to link him down in my description below, Pack a Day, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, by the way, man. But he's actually got the book laying down flat on a table, so you'll actually be able to see how it looks when you lay it down flat. I did not have any binding problems that I know DC has been known for the super tight binding, almost like a mouse trap. I will say this was very well done, and there was a lot of love and care put into this package, and A+ on that part. In terms of special features on this thing, that's where I'm going to ding DC a little bit. I'm going to say that you could have added a few more things. It is a bit light for an Absolute Edition, especially if you've read the Absolute Sandmans or the Absolute New Frontiers, but it does include things like sketches, variant covers. The covers are all in the place, by the way, of where the story is supposed to go. So you'll finish an issue, there's the next cover. And what's really cool about this is if you turn the page, the variant cover is on the back of the original cover. So that was really awesome. The highlight of this edition is definitely, for me, the character bios. And the character bios in the back of this include the heroes and the villains. And it kind of fills in where Grant Morrison got the idea of, hey, I got the Batman of Argentina from this one-shot in 1950. I got the Batman of Japan from this manga that nobody's ever read about. And you do get his writing, and he explains, yeah, I got it from here, and this is the context that I used him in and what he was originally meant for. Really great stuff. Really nice to get that extra information in there. DC did not have to include that, so I'm going to say DC, good job. As an overall package, if I were to give a letter grade to this Batman Incorporated edition, I would definitely say I'd give it an A-. Great story, fantastic writing, great art. The only thing that I'm really dinging it for is definitely going to be those special features, where I'm a bit spoiled by Absolute New Frontier and Absolute Sandman, and I wish they would have included a bit more. But overall, if you have read Grant Morrison's Batman run up to this point, and you really want to see it concluded in a stunning and beautiful realized presentation, this is the edition to pick up. So there it is, my long-awaited review for Batman Incorporated. I know I put this off for a while, but I really wanted to read it and give it a fair shot. I will say that I really did enjoy it, and I thought Grant Morrison was able to weave a very strong and very coherent ending. Despite my trepidations with Batman R.I.P. and how I didn't really like it, I thought the second half of his story was much better than the first. So if this is your first time checking out my channel, let me know what you thought about my review. Let me know if you enjoyed Batman Inc., if you've read it already. And comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I'm going to link all that stuff in the description below. I am doing Twitch streaming on Saturday, so check that out as well. You guys are awesome as always. Love to hear back from you.